Dawn of destiny. The early morning sun rose lazily over Midway, casting golden hues upon restless waves. On the bridge of the aircraft carrier Hiryū, Rear Admiral Tamon Yamaguchi stood silently, eyes squinting at the brightening horizon. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation. Officers and sailors bustled quietly around him, carrying out final preparations. Every man felt the gravity of this day, the decisive clash between two naval giants, Japan and America. Yamaguchi clenched his fists, resolve etched clearly across his face. His mind raced with strategies and possibilities, knowing full well that victory or defeat would echo across generations. Above him, aircraft hummed softly, prepared for battle, awaiting his command. The distant roar of engines signaled that the day of reckoning had finally arrived. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for the challenge ahead. Today, he would either shape history or be swallowed by its merciless tides. First blood reports crackled urgently through the radio. 3 carriers, Akagi, Kaga, and SRY, struck in a blaze, their fiery demise painfully clear against the distant horizon. Yamaguchi's chest tightened, the enormity of the moment weighing heavily upon him. His thoughts briefly flashed to comrades' lust, yet his resolve remained unshaken. Hiryū now stood alone, the Empire's final hope in a quickly deteriorating battle. Without hesitation, he barked orders to launch an immediate counterattack. The deck roared to life, planes scrambling into the sky with fierce urgency, pilots determined to avenge their fallen allies. Yamaguchi's stern gaze followed the departing aircraft, heart pounding fiercely beneath his uniform. The fate of Japan rested squarely on his shoulders now. He knew the risks but accepted them willingly, driven by a fierce sense of duty. He would strike back with everything he had, determined to alter the grim trajectory of the battle. Strike of fury. The sky erupted with noise as Hiryū's dive bombers surged forward, sleek predators on a deadly mission. Engines screamed defiantly, blending courage and vengeance into a symphony of war. On the bridge, Yamaguchi stood unwaveringly, binoculars pressed tightly to his eyes. Each heartbeat matched the rhythmic roar of the aircraft engines. The horizon swallowed his bombers whole, their silhouettes fading ominously into enemy territory. Minutes crawled by, tension simmering aboard the Hiryū as the crew held their collective breath. Suddenly, a report buzzed through. Yorktown had been hit. Cheers erupted momentarily, raw emotion surging through the men. Yamaguchi allowed himself a brief nod, acknowledging the small victory. Yet his face remained hardened, knowing well that the battle was far from over. With grim determination, he prepared for another assault, resolved to strike swiftly and decisively once more. His mind raced, plodding relentlessly, seeking the next path to victory. Counterattack. The waves crashed relentlessly against Hiryū's hull, a constant reminder of the battle raging above. Yamaguchi scanned the skies anxiously, aware that American retaliation was imminent. Tension seeped into every corner of the ship, palpable among crew members who exchanged worried glances. Suddenly, distant silhouettes appeared, dark and menacing against the pale afternoon sky. American bombers had found them. The admiral shouted swift orders, men scattering into action, guns swinging upward in defense. The air filled with deafening explosions and smoke, chaos enveloping Hiryū in a storm of steel and fire. Bullets ripped across the deck, sailors scrambling desperately amid flames and wreckage. Yet, Yamaguchi remained composed, his voice cutting sharply through the madness, directing his men with unwavering calm. Despite mounting casualties, his presence instilled courage, galvanizing the crew to fight fiercely. In this dire moment, his leadership became the backbone of their defense, pushing them toward an uncertain but determined resistance. Unseen threat smoke and debris clouded Yamaguchi's vision as Hiryū shuddered violently under the onslaught. American planes had struck hard, leaving burning scars across the carrier's once proud deck. The air was thick with acrid smoke, cries of wounded sailors echoing hauntingly. Yet amidst destruction, Yamaguchi's voice resonated clearly, guiding damage control teams with steadfast resolve. His stern figure moved swiftly across the burning bridge, issuing commands with calculated precision. Unbeknownst to him, above in the dense clouds, more enemy aircraft lay hidden, preparing another devastating strike. Sensing danger instinctively, the admiral felt a chilling dread creeping through his veins. Every nerve sharpened, senses heightened to imminent peril. Time slowed painfully, stretching every agonizing second into eternity. His heart raced fiercely, resolve battling dread, fully aware that the next attack could decide their fate irrevocably. Yet, Yamaguchi refused to surrender hope. He steeled himself, prepared for whatever deadly surprise lay hidden beyond the smoke-filled skies. Shadow from above through the dense smoke and roaring flames, Yamaguchi glimpsed movement above, the sinister outlines of enemy bombers emerging from the clouds once again. His blood froze momentarily, understanding immediately the threat that loomed. Without hesitation, he shouted desperate commands, urging defensive fire skyward. The air erupted with the deafening roar of anti-aircraft guns, tracer rounds crisscrossing violently through the haze. Explosions ripped across the flight deck, casting men into chaos. Yamaguchi felt helplessness gnawing at him but refused to yield to despair. Crews scrambled frantically to extinguish fires and tend wounded comrades. Despite heavy losses, they fought bravely under Yamaguchi's unwavering gaze. He stood defiantly amidst the inferno, orchestrating the desperate resistance. Sweat and smoke blurred his vision, yet determination hardened his resolve. With each passing moment, the battle edged closer to disaster, but Yamaguchi's relentless spirit kept hope flickering, even in the darkest moments of the onslaught. The once pristine deck of Hiryū now lay scorched and shattered, consumed by relentless flames that danced cruelly across steel and wood. Yamaguchi moved swiftly, rallying his battered crew, his steady voice cutting through cries of agony and confusion. Every second counted, each decision critical. Damage control teams fought tirelessly, driven by their commander's resilience. Yet, as smoke cleared momentarily, Yamaguchi glimpsed the devastating extent of the destruction, his ship teetered dangerously close to oblivion. Despite overwhelming despair, a strange calm washed over him, fueling clarity and decisiveness. In this fiery crucible, he resolved to launch one final, audacious attack, desperate to turn the tide. Gathering surviving officers, he issued orders firmly, igniting hope anew within weary hearts. The crew understood their admiral's intent, inspired by his unyielding courage. Flames illuminated his determined features, casting him as a beacon of bravery amid ruin. This last strike would define their legacy, an ultimate act of defiance. Heroic resolve. Hiryū's battered deck shuddered violently as planes launched courageously into the smoky skies, engines roaring defiantly. Yamaguchi watched sullenly, knowing he'd likely never see these brave pilots again. His heart ached with pride and sorrow intertwined, recognizing their sacrifice was necessary yet agonizing. The remaining crew observed silently, paying respects to comrades soaring toward uncertain destinies. Fires continued raging, making survival doubtful, yet determination remained etched on each soot-streaked face. Yamaguchi's presence instilled a profound calm, reminding them of honor and duty even amidst chaos. He personally encouraged weary sailors, bolstering their resolve with heartfelt words. Each man drew strength from their admiral's unwavering bravery. Despite mounting hopelessness, they rallied one final time, determined to maintain dignity in their darkest hour. The sky glowed with a tragic beauty, illuminated by flames of both destruction and valor. Yamaguchi knew their collective courage had become the heartbeat of their defiance, forever immortalized in history. As the horizon darkened ominously, the returning bombers brought news: Yorktown severely damaged and listing dangerously. A flicker of hope ignited briefly within Yamaguchi, yet reality swiftly smothered it. Hiryū herself was mortally wounded, flames devouring her from within. Faced with imminent doom, Yamaguchi called officers together, outlining a desperate final strategy. With calm determination, he conveyed his plan: one last strike to cripple remaining American carriers, regardless of their own fate. Officers exchanged solemn nods, understanding the gravity and finality of this command. The admiral's unwavering voice resonated deeply, sealing their resolve. Amidst rising smoke, crews prepared swiftly, their movements precise despite exhaustion and devastation. Yamaguchi's courage had infected every heart aboard, turning despair into fierce determination. The admiral gazed proudly at his men, grateful and honored to serve alongside such bravery. With a final, determined breath, he issued the launch command, knowing well the magnitude and consequence of this historic gamble. The surviving pilots ascended bravely into twilight skies, carrying the weight of their nation's desperate hope. Yamaguchi observed their departure silently, pride swelling painfully in his chest. Each plane bore the scars of battle, mirroring the souls of pilots aboard, resilient yet deeply scarred by the relentless fight. The admiral knew their odds were slim, but he believed fervently in their courage. Below, flames surged uncontrollably across Hiryū, marking the ship's final moments. Yamaguchi stood stoically amidst inferno and ruin, a quiet guardian of honor and sacrifice. His thoughts turned inward, reflecting solemnly on duty, comradeship, and legacy. He had given everything for his crew and country, never faltering or retreating, embodying the warrior spirit to the very end. Above, aircraft became distant specks disappearing into history. Yamaguchi closed his eyes briefly, accepting the impending darkness with profound peace. His final command echoed silently in the hearts of all who served under him, immortalizing their courage forever. In the shadow of dusk, faint reports trickled in. Yorktown critically damaged, possibly sinking. A fragile thread of hope lingered briefly, but reality was harshly undeniable. Hiryū's own fate was sealed. Yamaguchi stood firm, absorbing the grim news stoically. Around him, crew members moved mechanically, numb yet resolute. The deck beneath their feet groaned ominously, battered and scorched beyond recognition. Flames hissed defiantly, illuminating weary faces. Still, no one faltered under Yamaguchi's steadfast leadership. He rallied them for one final push against despair, preserving dignity and pride in defeat. His quiet courage became their lifeline, the foundation of their dwindling morale. Though sinking was inevitable, surrender remained inconceivable. Yamaguchi's unwavering eyes scanned the horizon one last time, a silent tribute to their monumental effort. His quiet strength reassured them that even in defeat, honor endured. They were ready for the end, united by unbreakable bonds forged in battle. As fires intensified, consuming everything in their path, Yamaguchi calmly oversaw evacuation procedures. Officers pleaded desperately for him to abandon the doomed ship. With quiet, unshakable determination, he refused, bound by duty and honor to remain until the very end. His steadfast resolve deeply moved every crew member, inspiring profound admiration and respect. Amidst overwhelming chaos, his clear commands resonated reassuringly, guiding the evacuation efforts with impeccable precision. Men scrambled into lifeboats reluctantly, casting sorrowful glances toward their courageous leader who remained defiantly aboard. Tears mingled silently with seawater, each heart heavy with gratitude and grief. Yet Yamaguchi stood tall, immovable amidst chaos, embodying the highest ideals of sacrifice and loyalty. He watched silently as his crew drifted to safety, ensuring every last sailor reached lifeboats before considering his own fate. The flames roared fiercely around him, a fiery testament to his unwavering bravery and unwavering devotion to duty. The heat was relentless, searing Yamaguchi's skin as Hiryū succumbed inevitably to the raging flames. The bridge, once his command center, became his final stand. Surrounded by memories of camaraderie and valor, he faced his impending fate with remarkable serenity. Smoke billowed thickly around him, yet he remained resolute, standing proudly on the fiery deck. His thoughts drifted briefly to family, to comrades lost, and to the legacy he hoped to leave behind. Acceptance washed over him, soothing and peaceful despite the inferno's fury. With dignity intact, he saluted solemnly into the void, acknowledging both allies and foes. As the vessel tilted sharply, Yamaguchi closed his eyes briefly, savoring a final moment of clarity. His presence became a beacon amidst destruction, illuminating the highest form of sacrifice and honor. The ship groaned mournfully beneath him, surrendering to the inevitable embrace of the sea, yet his spirit remained unbroken. Survivors floating in lifeboats gazed back tearfully at their sinking carrier, witnessing Yamaguchi's silhouette still visible amidst flames. Deep respect filled their hearts, honoring his bravery and steadfast loyalty. Silent salutes rippled solemnly across the waters, an unspoken tribute to their fallen leader. Emotion swelled, grief, pride, gratitude intertwined profoundly in their souls. They recognized his sacrifice as the epitome of honor, forever etched deeply into their hearts. Waves gently rocked their boats, carrying them reluctantly away from their commander. Darkness enveloped Hiryū gradually, flames fading into memory. The survivors remained silent, unified by loss yet strengthened by their commander's indomitable spirit. They knew history would remember Yamaguchi as a symbol of unparalleled courage. Their quiet salutes endured, honoring him deeply, their hearts heavy yet comforted knowing his legacy lived eternally within them. They drifted solemnly into the night, forever bound together by the heroic resolve they had witnessed. Hiryū slowly descended into the waiting depths, the ocean embracing her gently. Yamaguchi stood proudly, unwavering even as waters rose steadily around him. Calm serenity replaced chaos, each wave pulling him closer to eternal rest. Memories flashed vividly, faces of comrades, moments of joy and struggle. His final thoughts lingered tenderly on his duty fulfilled. The ocean claimed him softly, wrapping him in a profound peace, his legacy forever secure. His spirit radiated honor, courage, and sacrifice, becoming part of the ocean's endless story. Above, survivors stared solemnly at the empty sea, hearts heavy yet deeply inspired. The waters settled quietly, bearing silent testimony to his bravery. Darkness enveloped him gracefully, offering eternal solace and recognition. The Admiral's final stand resonated far beyond battle lines, inspiring even adversaries. His journey ended quietly, yet his spirit continued to echo powerfully, shaping history through his unyielding example of valor. News spread rapidly in the aftermath, resonating deeply across both sides. The loss of Hiryū, coupled with Yamaguchi's heroic stand, became legendary. In Japan, mourning mingled with pride. Families grieved, yet celebrated bravery beyond measure. Even among enemies, respect blossomed for the courageous adversary who had faced death with remarkable dignity. The battle's conclusion brought reflection, shaping perceptions profoundly. Yamaguchi's story inspired countless acts of valor, transforming sorrow into profound admiration. His final sacrifice symbolized the true essence of warrior spirit, courage, loyalty, and honor. His name echoed across oceans, carrying tales of indomitable spirit. While the battle decisively impacted the war's trajectory, it was Yamaguchi's unyielding resolve that resonated most deeply. His legacy illuminated paths forward, reminding future generations of duty's profound weight and honor's enduring strength. His name etched firmly into history, becoming synonymous with heroism, courageously confronting the inevitable with unwavering bravery. As stories of Yamaguchi's final hours spread, his legend grew exponentially, transcending national boundaries. In homes across Japan, he became an iconic figure, representing ultimate sacrifice and unwavering loyalty. Tales of his bravery captivated hearts, inspiring soldiers and civilians alike. Monuments rose silently, honoring his memory. Children learned his name, understanding bravery's profound depth. Even adversaries paid quiet respect, acknowledging a worthy opponent who embodied honor and courage. His legacy transcended conflict, symbolizing the profound strength of character. Years passed, yet his story remained vivid, shaping generations who aspired to mirror his courage. History books recorded his final stand, ensuring his bravery would never fade. His sacrifice embodied the spirit of selfless dedication, teaching powerful lessons of duty and resilience. Yamaguchi became more than a mere mortal, he became an enduring legend, forever celebrated for courageously confronting fate, leaving an indelible mark on history's pages. Years became decades, yet whispers persisted about Yamaguchi's final moments. Rumors swirled mysteriously, hinting perhaps he had survived, hidden by fate or divine intervention. Stories circulated tirelessly, fueling endless speculation and hope. Each retelling embellished details, turning him into a mythical figure whose true end remained forever uncertain. His memory endured vividly, strengthened by mysteries surrounding his fate. People wondered, debated, and dreamed. The truth remained elusive, yet his spirit undeniably lived on, resonating powerfully through generations. Historians searched eagerly for clues, driven by intrigue and admiration. His legend became a powerful force, echoing eternally through history's corridors. Perhaps Yamaguchi's greatest legacy was the enduring mystery itself, captivating imaginations, inspiring awe, and keeping his story vibrantly alive. Wherever courage was spoken of, Yamaguchi's name inevitably followed, forever linked to valor and sacrifice. Thus, his story remained unending, forever compelling the world to remember the echoes of his courageous heart.